Okay. This day has taken quite a turn. Um, I took a bit of a vacation. Was out of Norroth for about a week there. Missed the beta, which is unfortunate. I was intending on testing the beta, but the beta period was when I was out of town. Um, and upon my return, heard some things I didn't really like. Saw a few things I didn't like, as well as took a week off from this game that I've been having a hard time quitting because of sunk cost, both in time and um, actual monetary purchases. And once you have sunk costs, you'll end up sticking with something, whether it's a project, a relationship, a game that you want to quit, and you have a hard time doing it. So that week off convinced me that I just wanted to be done with this game, be done with the community. I wasn't treated very well, I would say, by the developer, and that's just been reinforced today. We'll go over that. Um, as well as some parts of the player base were just not what I've found to be the friendliest folks, as opposed to the other games that I play and that I've made friendship. So I wanted to be done with this. So I set out these last couple days, think, okay, I'm gonna do one more video. I'm gonna do one more video because there's been a number of changes, and I wanted to make sure that players knew about these changes because they are important changes, both in how to get changes done in Norroth from a player's perspective, as well as things you should be aware of playing any sort of online game. So I set about this morning um, writing out some bullet points on what I wanted to bring up. The big thing here, the the big thing here is, I'm not just for anyone watching. I'm not the developer of this game. I've been playing this game for about a year. Um, I had an okay time overall. Not so great. What I didn't want to do is I don't want to make a video that is some sort of personal attack or anything like that on the developer, or even too much of what I see as his poor developer practices. I'm gonna touch on a couple of things that I think players should be aware of, especially in an online game, especially one that has your information and does real money transactions and things like that. What I wanted to do is be done with this game and the community, and I wanted to offer that advice to others as well. It is very appealing to try to argue a point, especially on the internet, to try to have the last word, to try to be perceived as right, in front of a lot of other people. And the pattern that has happened in this game, to the detriment of many accounts, and is pretty much arguing to the point of making an irreversible or regrettable decision. And if you are familiar with Norroth and familiar with the player base, that has happened time and time again. People get frustrated. They end up saying one wrong thing, and then your account is banned. And this has happened mostly. It's interesting just to point this out. It's happened a lot to former staff of this game, right? People are just frustrated with the game, frustrated with the developer, etc. And then they say something and get banned. And the truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you agree with this developer or not, whether you like this game or not. To have that sort of anger and ego in you is a loss, right? The battle is not with the developer of the game. The battle is with yourself. How can you be calm and tranquil? This is a game that you can choose to play or choose to walk away from. No one's forcing you to play this game, right? If it is not enjoyable, you need to just walk away. And so what I wanted to do was, I don't enjoy this game. I don't enjoy the developer's attitude towards me, his communication style. And to be honest, when I really get down to it, the game isn't fun. I was wanting this update to be focused on the fun, and we'll talk about what I noticed is mostly in this update. But yeah, I just wanted to encourage folks that may be on the fence or whatever. Do what is right for you. If it's time for you to remove something that is causing difficulty in your life, remove it. You don't need to play this game. You know. So I will say I'm a little bit tilted with just what happened this morning. I wanted to make a pretty, it's not going to be a video that the developer would like. I'm not making it for the developer, but I wanted to go out with a pretty in my mind, like a pretty peaceful video of just like, hey, this is the latest patch, this is what I've seen, these are the changes to the game, and I'm done. What happened this morning to me is I'm pretty convinced to just sell everything that I possibly can from the account. The geodes, probably. Wanted the spirit or. Okay. So now I guess I'll try to get to the video that I had hoped to make. So, you know, you may or may not like the videos that I make. These videos have not been well received by this particular community because I feel like they are critical, but they're respectful. And whether or not you agree with them, the truth is, excuse me, to a certain degree, they're right. And I say that because the changes that I've detailed in the videos have been made into the game. If you go back to the earlier videos and look at the screenshots and videos of the game doesn't look like that anymore. The features don't look like that anymore. The game has been changed to reflect the features that I've requested, I've designed and posted and shared. So I will say, whether or not you like the video regardless of the point, my videos get results. My videos make changes in this game. My videos were always aimed to make the game more fun, more balanced, and in the last couple videos point out issues with privacy, online privacy, and tracking and kind of that communication around that, as well as informing users about what you should probably know when it comes to using an online game. I make these videos for a couple reasons. The first one, was to kind of communicate to staff, especially around, for the same exact reason that the developer of this game loves to use voice chat. It is easier to discuss an idea or a concept or whatever with voice and video than it is to write it all out. The second thing is to also share the ideas with you, the players, because your voice on certain redesigns or features also matters. Especially if what we're trying to do is help the game become more fun. So is and especially in the last video, I'm going to assume that most people are not aware of cookie laws and things like that. And why this is important is because this developer prides himself on being a solo developer. He's the only one that touches code in this game. Now, there's a whole staff, and there's artists, and there's quest makers, and things like that. But he is a solo dev, and that's plastered everywhere. I want to point this out to folks because depending on who you are, what your experience is with indie games or developers or something like that, the developer of this game is somewhat celebrated within his small circle. He's essentially has a small kingdom here where he is the leader. He has his own special title in Discord, his own special skin in the game. Makes him feel good, and that honestly, that's why I've been kind of forced out, as well as many others. We don't make him feel special, that he should be celebrated. It is what it is. Solo devs it's a risk. It is a risk you as a player should be aware of. A solo dev is not necessarily something to champion. It isn't something to really celebrate. Is it cool that one person can do everything, that is responsible for everything? You have one person that is making the game, fixing the bugs, balancing, like, to do everything. When you really think about this, like, every game out there that you would say that you like, and I guess depending on your indie game experience, you may like some smaller games, but I'll say any of the big games, big acclaim, these games are made by teams. Films made by teams. Any large accomplishment, teams, humans, we work together. If you're a solo dev, and I've spoken to solo devs, and there's a pattern here, it's something to call out that there is a difficulty in communicating and collaborating if you are a solo dev. If you are saying that, I'm not going to try to work with anyone, and I'm going to pride myself on that. And I'm not trying to be nitpicky or bullying on this subject. I'm trying to bring up something really important, which is there's no one, to my knowledge, and no one on staff, being the solo, there's no one double checking the code. Right? This game has thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code. There's no other developer looking over your shoulder asking, why are you doing it like that? What are you doing like here? That's a very important part of this process. It's important when making sure things are more bug free. Excuse me. And things like that. It's solo devs, and I've spoken to them, right? It's because they have a particular way of working and they don't want to collaborate with other people. So I will just say that. There's no code review. There's no one double checking the code. Hey, if anyone outside of the developer has actually seen code, because when he streams, he never streams the code as far as I've seen. I've seen him stream direct access to a database, which is a terrible practice. He streams Google spreadsheets, which are fine. He streams, but he doesn't stream using Incarnate, which is the map editor he uses to make all the maps. And he doesn't stream code, as far as I've seen. So anyway, I just want to point that out because when wanting to play a game that is secure, and things like that, it's good to have a second, a third developer, right? Like I manage a team of 8 developers, right? What we can accomplish is great. It's a wonderful skill to have, to be able to collaborate and work on something as well. Yes, from time to time I'll do a small game by myself, but I'm not going to do an MMO or any sort of large game by myself. I've been in talks with other devs so that when we do something that's similar to this, it is with a handful of other devs. Part of this is for, I mean, this isn't ego. This is for you as the player. If the developer of this game gets a job and isn't able to attend this game as much, what happens? If there's a critical bug like there was, if there was SQL injection like there was, where you could delete other characters, you could delete items in other people's inventory and stuff like that. Like, thank God someone reported this to the developer, because he was sleeping and this was live for 24 hours or whatever. But the thing is, I just want to point this out. There've been times I have solo devved a project, but I just want to make that aware. He's using solo dev as a marketing tool to label himself as something that should be celebrated. And I would actually convey this as a warning flag, that you're trusting a lot in someone to get everything done, and that's a bit, it's a bit risky. Okay, and I guess the reason why security is an issue is because every game gets hacked eventually, especially in the PBG online web games. There's always a security breach. Open up Google now, go to some news site. There's going to be a breach somewhere of some service of some game, of some site. It happens. And the reason I am leaving, and the reason why I didn't want to the reason why I'm leaving is because I've been forced to either accept the cookie policy or not access the game that I have paid money for, and that was a change in policy, and there's no way I can either get my money back. I just have to accept the cookie. So the reason why I bring up the hacking is that in my mind, what I see from this developer is him adding in tracking software, removing tracking software, not communicating about this stuff. If Norroth was actually hacked, if the database was compromised, and I guess I'll put this to you as the players, do you feel that information would be conveyed to you? That your data and integrity of the game, if that was compromised, would you be informed? I personally don't feel like the developer would tell us, A, that it happened, B, how it happened, and C, what was done to make sure it didn't happen again. I mean, the last time there was a critical bug about this, nothing actually was published in the game updates. Another player reported it, and we knew about it, but nothing was actually communicated about it. And so that's the thing. I don't have confidence that if something happened with this game, and I'll just point out the other PPBGs, Elithor, Queslar, not that Queslar was hacked, but Queslar had an issue with its infrastructure, and some data was lost, and the developer was very transparent and saying, this is what happened, this is why it happened, this is what I'm going to do to make sure it didn't happen again. With Elithor, like, this is how the database was compromised, this is what happened, this is what we did to remedy it, this is how it's not going to happen again. That sort of transparency. I'm not expecting a dev to put out bug-free code. What I'm hoping is that a developer, just like anyone, can be an honest human being and transparent and communicative about what's going on. And I don't have that with this developer, so I'm choosing not to participate in his game anymore. Let's just see. Okay. Let me just see a second. So, you know, being a game developer isn't just about writing some PHP code or some JavaScript code. You're not like a savant. You're not a genius. You know, I think sometimes people can fall into some worship of these folks. You're just like any other normal human being. Anyone can become a game developer, but not everyone is going to be a good, honest, communicative person worthy of trust, right? And I guess that's what I'm looking for more than some like outstanding game developer, right? Or like, yeah. So I mean, I could go on more about the developer practices. I would actually prefer not at this point to talk really too much more about that. I want to be done with it. But what I want to do is, previously, I just want to explain why I made the videos. The game looks different now because of those videos, and that to me makes me feel good. I was right to bring it up. I was right to advocate for it. You know, this game has Norroth has had a lot of collaboration. You wouldn't know it because it's not mentioned anywhere on the site or in game. But I want to thank the former staff and former players who contributed their ideas and time to helping this game. Norroth has improved because of the passion and patience and vision of the former staff and former players, several of which are banned. And I'm not going to say that I disagree or don't disagree with how perhaps they violated the terms of service. What I will say is that I understand how they got to the point to feel frustrated enough that they did, and that's really unfortunate. This developer of this game will not thank anyone for their contributions that I've seen, directly or transparently. He doesn't name the artist who's doing the voice acting. He doesn't really name his pixel artists. None of the updates ever that I've seen actually name a player. Hey, thanks to X who did this thing. I think the one time was Spider at least mentioned that he was the one that implemented a new quest, and this was like 2 days before he was banned. So I want to take the time to say thank you to the folks who have put in their time and effort into making this game better. A big reason why people come to things like Norroth is because it's a small game. It's an indie game, and your voice can be heard. Try having the same experience with a Blizzard game, right? Or Final Fantasy, and then see if you can ever talk to a dev and that you're going to be listened to. But here, right, it's appealing. You can weigh in on the direction of the game, and many folks like myself have been made to feel shit because of that. We've been told our input, doesn't matter or was wrong or whatever. One of the big things about this latest patch is the developer finally played his game. He finally played his game after whatever, it's like 9-10 years in development. He played this latest version, and he started finding all the bugs and issues that everyone had been reporting. These were the things that when people brought up, they were dismissed and condescended to, and ultimately they got really frustrated and left. But now it's improved because now he's experienced the bug. I want to say to the former staff and players that it's unfortunate that your time wasn't respected, that your opinions weren't respected, that you were mocked by the developer and the existing staff. It's really unfortunate. I really don't like it that one of the long-term players, he is silent in like all the chats. If you know who I'm talking about, Moto Dragon, just relentlessly mocked for playing the game because he happens to hoard or whatever. I mean, he plays the game. He accumulates the resources and then keeps him on his character. This guy is also like the top. He's on like the number one on most of the leaderboards. He's responsible for a ton of gear and tools in the game, but you wouldn't know it because of the disrespect shown by the developer and the staff. And they could say they're joking and everything like that. It's really interesting how staff and the developer are allowed to joke about players, but if you do the opposite, you'll get banned because there's a rule about being respectful towards staff. Unfortunately, the thing that really turned me off this game, and there's a video about it, about how the events were done, and in this latest patch I've seen it mentioned a few times, pulling a Tempest is no longer possible. Pulling a Tempest is when you participated in an event and then got shafted from the reward because the event system was terribly written. It was a terrible experience. That's now been changed. It's been changed. You now don't get kicked out of the event when you switch characters. You now don't lose out on your reward ever. When the event ends, you get it in your mail. That's perfect. I wonder why that changed. I wonder if it was the countless times I brought it up. The countless times, and we made a video about it. Other people struggled with this. And so I'm just going to say, once again, while the staff and the developer don't like the feedback, the game is improved because of feedback I gave. And so I want to also convey that thank you to the former staff and the players for their feedback as well. The combat rework and many of these changes have been done because of the feedback you guys gave. You won't get a thanks for it, but you deserve it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not calling out the bad experiences I had put me at odds with the developer. Absolutely, but the game is better because of it. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Now I want to move into what's in the update. Finally, yeah, like I said, the developer's playing his own game, which is great. It'll hopefully reduce the condescension he has when talking to his players, because now he actually experiences the game rather than just mocks people. And I guess on a side tangent, I did just want to say the pillory in the game is perhaps the grossest way I've ever seen banned players handled in a game. I guess it goes a little bit back. I think there's a lot of insecurity in a lot of how this game is made and stuff like that, as to not like even mentioning that now they have Google ads involved. He doesn't mention Google. He says third party. But anyway, the thing with the pillory is like in IdleQuest or Quasar, Elithar, like when you're banned, you're just banned. Maybe there's a global announcement in the chat that says so-and-so is banned. In Norroth, you're put into the pillory, where you're then inviting the rest of the players to come and throw things at them. That this was apparently a needed feature. This was a priority feature. This apparently would make the game more fun. The developer spent time on publicly humiliating these characters versus just like a quick little ban, which is like what every other game does. So I thought that was weird. I could make a video about what I feel personally is going on with the dev in the insecurity about all this stuff, but I don't want to. That kind of the pillory really, it's a strange thing. If you go and you look at these other games you guys play, when does the developer really want to take it out on a player like that? It's kind of gross. But I will say the cookie banner. Let's see. It's gone now because I was forced to click it. But I will say the cookie banner used to be down here at the bottom of the screen, and it covered all this stuff. It covered the terms of service and stuff like that. And I called that out, and it's been fixed, which is great. See, feedback works. It was also reworded quite a bit. Actually, let me see if I can. Technically, according to this, you can revoke cookies. So let's see. Yeah, let's see what cookies he's setting and see if we can revoke the cookies. Yeah, cookie consent. There it is. And I'm going to remove that cookie. And if I refresh this, I should get the cookie banner back. There it is. We and selected third parties use cookies or similar technologies for technical purposes and, with your consent, for other purposes as specified in the cookie policy. Denying consent may make related features unavailable. You can consent and use such. You can consent to the use of such technologies by using the accept button. By closing this notice, you continue without accepting. So watch this. If I hit reject and go up to log in, I get an error message. Unable to save login cookie. Please accept the cookie policy and try again. So I'll say this. I've decided to quit today because, I actually decided a couple days ago because I just enjoyed the break from this game so much. But what the developer has done is implemented what is called a cookie wall. You must consent to this before playing the game. In the last video, I pointed you to an article, and you can find out about it. This game is developed, the developer is Dutch. The Dutch guidance for this calls, this is not GDPR compliant. That I'm being denied access to the actual service. That's kind of ridiculous, and it's funny because it's a bit of a misunderstanding of what the hell is actually supposed to happen here. A login cookie is a cookie authored by the Norroth developer for use of the product. A first-party cookie, which is what that's called, a Norroth.com cookie, doesn't need a consent banner because you're not passing your data to a third-party service, another company, okay? You don't need a consent banner like this unless you're going to pass data to a third party. And he is for Google and for Smartlook, right? What should happen here is I should be able to hit reject and log into the game. That's what should happen. I brought that up to the developer this morning, and he told me to speak to a lawyer. Let me see. Let me revisit this. Fantastic. Feel free to see a lawyer for more information. And, now I'm just trying to seek clarification. I tried to ask, is the outcome of the meeting with your lawyers on this topic to implement a cookie wall? And he said, I'm not going to debate something about legal stuff here. My legal team has created everything for me. If you don't agree, you can ask a lawyer for help, or you can send an email and I will send it to my legal team. So I'm just going to say it's unfortunate that this developer seems unable to grasp GDPR and how to implement a cookie policy. This is some basic shit. The only way to play this game is to also give him permission to send your data to third parties, which now that he's implemented ads, he's now sending your data to Google as well. So it's not just recording your game sessions with Smartlook, but it's also associating your data with Google and AdSense, which is their ad server, their ad service. And then he basically told me to stop having the conversation in Discord. I can send an email or open a ticket, and then he told me to please read the rules, which I didn't understand. I asked him for which rule I had broken by apparently trying to have a conversation in Discord. He says we may ask you to move your conversation. So the developer has decided that discussing this topic at all in Discord was a violation of the rules. That any further discussion, I was supposed to just either email or open a support ticket, and then we'd have it. Apparently get some resolution, which, like, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and that I had meant to just kind of do a review of the patch today to show you guys, and I came up against this, and then that really kind of that frustrated me, because it's funny when we look at the cookie policy, right? Here it is, cookie policy, guys. This is radically different than it was in my first video. So again, I make a comment, I make a video, I send it to the staff, changes. Better for you, the player. No mention, of course, from the dev that, and I don't need it. I don't need it, because here's the results. I was right. If I wasn't right, why would all my requested changes be here? Right? And it lays it all out. Nice little functional thing. He mentions, right, this is the functional cookie. This is the first party one that you don't actually need consent for, but he can't figure out how to implement a cookie policy. So it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that the rest of the game is well coded. I will be honest with you about that. The analytical part. So here he says Smartlook. So good, right? He mentions it. And it was kind of pulling teeth trying to get these changes, trying to call this stuff out, and tracking. So there, I use Google AdSense, right? So there you go. That's what it's supposed to be. What happens if I don't accept the cookie? I mean, you may not be able to play the game. I think that, to be honest, should probably be fixed, because it's absolutely clear that you can't play the game if you don't accept the cookies. Like, you just can't. This isn't a may. This is an absolute, you can't log in. Can I delete the cookies? Well, we just saw I did that. You can manually opt out by setting cookies. Here you will find an instruction video. There's no link to instructional videos on how to manage cookies, so this is an incomplete policy there. Privacy, we value your privacy. I don't believe him. I'm sorry. The privacy is guaranteed in accordance with the applicable laws. Yeah, again, I don't believe that he has a good understanding of that. For more information about this, please refer to our privacy policy. So it's good. He's finally created a privacy policy. It used to be in the general terms, but it's now been moved out to its own separate privacy policy, which is great. This is some pretty basic website 101 stuff to have a privacy policy, so I'm glad that he's finally created one. For more information and questions, do you have any questions or comments about the website's use of cookies? If so, please feel free to contact us or raise a ticket in our Discord. Okay, I mean, you guys saw how it is. If you want to see how that topic went down, you can go to the in channel. This is June 23rd, and you can see at, let's see, I'm Pacific time. You can see the chat start about 8:21 a.m. about how the developer likes to actually have a discussion about cookies. But anyway, I'm just gonna say, like, regardless of how it all turned out, like, I was right. I made a video. Changes are in the game. We're better for it. Look at that. I was told that the developer was going to talk to some lawyers. I was told that a couple times by staff. I asked if there was any update. The communication only happens from this developer if he likes you. I mean, my God, for the first time ever, I actually see in the market channel, he posted he posted a request from someone in the game to the market channel in Discord. right? Like copying and pasting that request for that. That's I mean, that's awesome and whatever, but he is inconsistent with who he's going to be nice to. So creation of privacy policy, terms of service. Let's just take a quick look at that, because I noticed this fun little thing. This was added, this introduction was added. Norroth is a project of passion and developed by a solo developer. Amazing. With a lot of help and staff and everything, but solo developer, which also means that no one's double checking his code. It hasn't been reviewed. It's not public. It's not really tested to my knowledge. Norroth is under constant active development and may change along the way in order to improve the player experience. Absolutely. Again, I want to thank the former staff and players for improving the game. Almost anything in the game can be obtained by playing or trading with NPCs and players besides in-game purchases, mostly cosmetic. So this is factually false. The last time I counted, there were 19 cosmetic purchases and 80 available purchases that could be made with just in the store, not counting the achievement currencies and the laurel currencies. So it is not mostly cosmetic. The developer thinks 25%, right? 19 of 80. Mostly cosmetic is just false. A quarter of what you can buy is cosmetic. Most things, and I don't know why he's embarrassed or ashamed. He's implemented microtransactions in a game that also has some loot boxes. I don't know why he's not proud of what he's done, why he has to pretend like this is cosmetic. I mean, this is how you want to monetize and make money. Like, let's be clear about that. Let's own it. Norroth offers video ads that reward the premium currency to make sure everyone has access to nearly all content. Great. Cool. Yeah, the rest of the stuff is pretty boilerplate. It hasn't changed with the patch. What I will say is that the majority of the changes I saw, or not majority, sorry, since we know majority means only 25% when it comes to Norroth. The developer spent a long time on CSS. That's the styling. He mentioned a couple months ago that he was taking a programming class, which is great. I'm proud of him that he's learning programming. If you remember what the old version of this was, he's figured out how to basically just do CSS effects. He's changed all the icons to circles. This is just here. Let me undo it. It's just border radius. There, I've changed them all back to square. So he figured out the thing. I think it's fine. I think, circles. But I guess my point is I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying he spent a lot of time on styling. He's figured out how to put the text over the images. If you remember, all these boxes previously had a transition, which is when you hovered over it, it got bigger for a second and then smaller. That's gone from the game now. Here, we'll go ahead and log in for a second. If you remember back in the day, actually there was a version on dev where when you hovered over these boxes, they would get big and smaller. I don't think it was ever released, and instead he learned this trick on how to do a flip, a nice little transition. So again, this sort of interest in like CSS and styling. I will say that you can debate whether or not this is cool, but I will say that a game is not fun based on having a cool effect doesn't make a game fun. I was hoping for more things that would actually make the game fun. That was the number one complaint from all the players that I spoke to. That the game felt like a job, that the game wasn't fun, that it was too much idling or tediousness. So what I've seen so far is a lot of changes that have nothing to do with improving fun. Also, I'll just say this is a terrible screen. The reason for that is when I'm looking at all these characters, where's the button I'm supposed to click? How do I actually play the game? It says select my hero. How do I select my hero? I have to hover over this thing to even see the button. So I'm just going to call that out. That's bad design. It is. Like, You as a player don't even know that there's an action to be taken until you hover over the thing. Okay. But no, this is what we waited for, guys. This effect. I'm gonna jump into the game just for a little bit because this thing kills my browser. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's so many, and all these little windows stack on top of each other. Listen, I'm not going to criticize the design here because I don't want to play the game anymore. It is what it is. I think it's unfortunate that all these pop-ups are the exact same size and you have to scroll to see any of the content now. Also, let's see if I leave this here and I leave this here and I leave here. Let's open up inventory and I leave this. If I log out or switch characters, do they come back in the same spot? Okay, Stash did. Okay, good. So he's at least got that. So you as a player could set up a thing. I personally don't like the modals. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have to scroll on all these things now. So at least before, I guess it's more for someone somewhere. This is more performant. The game before for me actually worked pretty well. Now all I have is a stat. Whatever. And yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, I see. They're talking about the chat or the game. So it looks like it. Oh, there's no cooldown. Okay, cool. Oops, sorry. I mean, there's a lot of things changed now. It's got the dice has been changed. The runes have been changed. I wanted to see the reason actually why I actually feel real cheated by this game. Where's my overview? See what is this? I want to see if my magic find has been nerfed. Oh, I can't remember. I think that's about right. There's something going on. I mean, the jewel system was all redone. Now, like, I'm not sure what more we really need to say about this, because like I said at the beginning of this stream and this video, I feel for the betterment of everyone, that's not having a great time with this game. We need to be done with it. We need to just log off, not be in the Discord anymore. Just leave it. If you think this is a pile of trash, just leave it. To sort of linger with it and to continually hate on it is not going to make you a better person. It's not going to give you peace of mind, whatever. Know that at the end of the day, the developer has not been able to develop a game without the assistance of countless staff, players, other artists. You're not in a competition with him about who is the better online game person or whatever. He's made plenty of mistakes and bugs. You know how fun this game is. He's going to continue to struggle with it. He's going to continue to try to figure this out, milk people. Oh, and I'll just say, one of the things that was really disappointing to me, at the beginning of this thing, I told him, because he was putting dev updates into the game updates channel in Discord, and that was kind of confusing because it was communicating that there were changes in the game when there weren't changes in the game. And so I said, hey, you should have a Discord channel for dev updates, and for a little while it was. We, as the players, were told what was changing in the game, which I thought was really important, because if, pretty much a ton of players left after guilds and after that duty board thing that was implemented that no one really uses. And And now, unfortunately, that's been removed. It's now behind a paywall. You have to be a Patreon subscriber in order to figure out what's coming next in the game, which is a choice. I will say that one of the things that's really cool about Queslar and Elithor is that the devs are pretty transparent with what they're planning to do. And guess what? It's free to figure out what the roadmap of the game is. I think that was pretty cool. Here, you have to pay for that. So that was a pretty shitty thing. I think but that was a choice. So I think that's it. The beta testers got a skin for beta testing. Yeah, I suggested that to Twin to incentivize more people to beta test, because there was concern that no one would beta test, that very few people would beta test. So I brought up, hey, you should incentivize them. So again, the suggestions work, the videos work. You're not going to get any thanks for this, but I do want to put it out there for those of you with ideas about games. Find a game that the developer is going to respect you, listen to you, give you a fair opportunity to participate with your idea, not make you feel like shit. You don't deserve that. How you were treated in Norroth is not a reflection of who you are or how you should have been treated in an online game. A lot of people put in time and energy trying to make this game better, and there is zero evidence anywhere in this game as a thank you for that. This isn't just about me. I'm one person at the end of a line of folks that have tried to improve this game. The people I've met that have been burned by this game are now some of the best friends I have in the PPBG sphere. The guild we made is the #1 guild. We figured out how to play this game. We were good at this game. We unfortunately we're just not in that clique, right? The developer and the staff have their own Pathfinder game, their own Dungeons and Dragons game. They have their own little thing that makes them all feel good and special and welcome. You're not gonna achieve that. You shouldn't set your expectation to be that. You'll be disappointed. Go and find a game developer who's going to listen to you and respect your ideas and treat you even as a player. Even if you don't want to spend your time designing a game or giving feedback, if you want to be a player and be treated well and not condescended, find a game that does that. I haven't found it here. Most people have not found it here. I have the stats on the total number of counts and how far everyone progressed in this game. It's not very many people ever made it even past the majority of people never actually made it to the first city, which is like 5 or 6 maps in. It's like 15 minutes into the game or 10 minutes into the game, or maybe 3 if you know exactly what you're doing. So anyway, I wanted to just kind of close out this video to say some other shit happened this morning. I mean, I kind of went over it. I'm now currently selling almost everything in the inventories. I can't sell the account, but unfortunately, I'm not gonna get the high score for mining, and that going back to the sunk cost, right? That's what was keeping me on. I want to definitely get that. It's time to be done with the game. So, for those of you interested, I do have my own Discord and my own game studio. It's right there, slyboots.studio. You can get into the Discord. You can follow the games we're working on. We also use Incarnate on some of our games, which is the map tool that this developer uses, right? He doesn't make these things by hand. This isn't his art. He uses a tool to make this, and we used the same one, and I found it years before I even knew about this, which is why as soon as I saw this game I recognized, oh, that's what he's doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that the videos, for as frustrating as they were, for as downvoted that they've been by the staff, and you know, the select few that enjoy this developer, they've worked, and the game is better for it. Let me just see. I'm just wanting to see if in the... Yep, he's just simplified the bug report page. That's a release that just came out 20 minutes ago, because one person or two people commented it. So everyone that commented on it before, you know, like, too bad to you. But finally, I guess we hit the critical mass of having like 5 or 6 people comment on the bug report thing being difficult, so now it's been changed. There was something else. Let me just see. Yeah, database, some extra optimizations. That's cool. Yeah, the client order boards got changed again, right? That's great. Making them more worth it, right? And again, this is the feedback, like when they originally came out, where I'm just like, this is not helping anyone. So anyway, we want to be done with this. I'm going to basically just try to sell the inventory that I have, and then this is the last video I hope to do on this, unless there's something egregious that comes up with more cookie policy or privacy policy, or there's a hack or something. The only reason to do that, I don't want to sandbag on the dev. I don't think I need to. I think his record and his reputation speak for the quality of dev you can expect to see in this game. The only thing I'd bring up is if there's something that I think the players need to be aware of, and that's just to protect your privacy, your interest, your real money transactions. Unfortunately, I mean, the most I can do is X trade out. I'm not going to be able to get a refund from this. I think it was a pretty shitty thing to do, to change the policy of the game so that I can't log in without consenting to being tracked by third-party services, because the developer doesn't know how to implement a cookie wall, or implement a cookie policy. So I think that's going to be it. I think this is the end of Norroth for me, hoping that for a few others, find better games. Find better developers. Find people that are going to treat you with respect and listen to you. The people that I've met had good things to say. They had great ideas. And unfortunately, this was just not the place for them. So follow this YouTube channel. Visit the Discord, my Discord. We're going to be talking about game design. We're going to be making other online games that are going to be free to play. I love discussing ideas and having input and collaborating with other developers. And if you've never developed a game, if you're an aspiring game developer, or just want to throw ideas against the board and then darts, so whatever, those are the conversations that I have when I stream. And in Discord like that. So feel free to continue with my videos. But this has been a drag. And if you see the non-Norroth videos, if you go watch my IQ videos for IQ RPG, it's a completely different energy. This one is just draining, and I just want to be done with it. And I'm hoping this is the same for others. So everyone have a wonderful day. And thank you. All right.